On this episode of the Whiskey Tornado, we review New Riff Malted Rye. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Tornado. I'm your host, Lance. Today, we are reviewing New Riff Malted Rye. This is a bottle that is being talked about quite a bit. It goes for around 60, 70. I might have even paid 80 for this. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. However, on secondary, this bottle is now pushing 140, I've seen. So, obviously being talked about. Today, we're going to review it, give it the Whiskey Tornado score, and let you guys know if it's worth the hype. For those of you new to the Whiskey Tornado, I'll quickly explain our scoring system. We have 7 categories. The first 2 categories are handicapped. Those categories are appearance and availability. Then we move in to the nose, palate, finish, body, and value. At the end, we add all those scores up. Anything with a score of 3 or better is bar worthy. Feel safe buying that. Any score of 4 or better means you might want to buy some extra in case they become hard to find. With all that being said, let's get into the appearance of New Riff Malted Rye. As far as the appearance goes, I love this bottle, guys. It's different. It stands out. I love how it goes from dark to light. It's got that kind of frosted look to it. It says bottled in bond. That's etched in the glass. This is, again, New Riff Kentucky Straight Malted Rye. This is a 6-year bottled in bond and was distilled in spring of 2015. The bottle is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Again, this is a 100% malted rye mash bill. On the appearance of this bottle, we're going to give it a 0.7. Moving on to availability, it's limited as of now. I think they plan on this being a regular release. They did release a few. I was at a store in Kentucky and got very lucky getting my hands on this bottle. But right now, the availability is not great. Right now, I'm going to give it a 0.2, but that could change, that could grow, but this is a handicapped category for that very reason. All right, let's get on to the important stuff. Let's go to what's in the bottle. Let's nose this. Ooh, I like the nose. This has been getting a lot of praise. If you guys follow the Bourbon Junkies channel, they go crazy over this. Man. And it's going for 135, 140 on secondary, which seems crazy to me, but the nose on this is really nice. First thing I get on the nose is this like burst of like floral. And then there's some like orange peel there. Lots of vanilla. And then what I absolutely love on this 6-year malted rye is there's a little bit of dustiness there. Like when you walk into a rick house and you can smell the dust, there's a little bit of that in here, which I absolutely love. So yeah, there's floral, orange peel, vanilla, a little bit of dustiness. Nose is really nice. I'm going to give the nose a 0.6. All right, moving on to the palate. Cheers, everybody. First thing that pops in my head on this is crushable. Getting a pretty decent hug there. But gosh, is that easy to drink. Again, bottled in bond, 6 years old. So we're talking 100 proof. But it drinks really easy for a rye. My first impressions is this is like a bourbon drinker's rye. If you're not super crazy about tons of rye spice and you haven't tried a lot of ryes, I would try this. I got some cocoa right off the bat. Some rye citrus. Let me take another sip here. Yeah, definitely a bourbon drinker's rye. It's crazy because at 100% malted rye, it's got really good cocoa notes in there. Really good citrusy kind of orange peel notes. There's like a really, man, finish is long. There's like a tartness there. There's a tart fruit. Let me take another sip because I can't pinpoint what that is. There is some kind of tart fruit. I can't tell if that's citrus or maybe it's tart cherries. There might be some tart cherries in there. Cocoa powder, rye citrus. Again, I don't think this is going to put off a lot of people who don't like rye. I think if you don't like rye, you should give this a shot. Definitely see if you can get a pour that's at the bar. I think you'll like it. You know, I've watched a couple reviews on this, if I'm being 100% honest, and people are going absolutely nuts over this. It is good. I don't get why people are going so crazy over this. For my palate, it's better than average. I'm not going to chase it down at secondary prices. I paid, I think, around $70 for it. And I don't know. I think the value is probably around average. And sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. But on the palate, I'm going to give it better than average. I don't think it's as crazy good as people are saying it is, at least not for me. But taste is subjective. So, you know, don't take any of us seriously. Taste these things for yourselves. But for my particular palate, it's really good. I'm going to give it better than average, a 0.6. But I wouldn't fall all over myself over this. It's not that good. I've had a lot of ryes that I particularly enjoy more than this. But this is still very good from a newer distillery coming out with a 6-year bottled and bond rye that's 100% malted rye. Really, really impressive what New Riff's doing. I don't want to take anything away from that. It's just the reviews I've been seeing are over the moon for this stuff. And while it's good and while it's impressive what New Riff's doing, very, very impressive what New Riff's doing, it's a better than average palate, but I'm going to give it a 0.6. All right, moving on to the finish, guys. You know, the finish is where this shines. It is a long finish. In fact, when I've done my other sips, it's taken me a while to stop tasting what's there. Really long, nice, spicy. Definitely can pick up the oak in the finish, and it becomes a little drying and a little tannic, which is where I'm going to knock it. But, I mean, the finish is still going on this. It is a long, long finish. You don't want to jump right back into this. I'm getting like a second wave of hug right now. Golly, the finish is insane on this. If it wasn't for the drying, tannic, oakiness on there, I wouldn't knock it. But otherwise, really good. We're going to give it way better than average. We're going to give the finish a 0.7. All right, moving on to the body. This is, you know, everything you want in a bourbon or rye. It's creamy, velvety, buttery, really buttery. Just a beautiful, beautiful body on this. Sticks to the glass, goes down really nice. It's one of the highlights of this rye. We're going to give it a 0.7 as well. All right, moving on to our final category. It is value. Again, I think I paid around $70 for this bottle, but it's going for around $140 on secondary. So if you're going to rate it at what I paid for it at $70, I think it's an average value. I'm not mad at it. I like what's in there. It's a great rye. It's really impressive to see what a newer distillery is doing with a 6-year malted rye. It's fantastic. But again, I wouldn't go so far as to say this is one of the best ryes I've ever had and just fall all over it. It's not that to me. If I'm talking secondary prices, I'm saying this is way below average as far as the value. If I got it for $70, I would rate it as a 0.5. It's an average value, but it is really interesting to grab a malted rye that's bottled in bond from a newer distillery to see how good New Riff is doing with what they have. There are no craft characteristics to this, no youthful characteristics. Of course, a 6-year rye is a pretty old rye, but what they're doing is really good. I'm really impressed with them. It's a great offering. I would not be mad buying it for $70. I would not chase this down for secondary prices, however. All right, guys, I hope that helps you decide what to buy and what to leave on the shelves. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to join our bourbon crew on Patreon, you can find us at The Whiskey Tornado. If you go into Patreon and search, you can join for as little as $2 a month. We have advent calendars we do at the end of the year. We select our bourbon of the year, and in October, we are having a get-together in Kentucky that should be amazing. Thank you guys all so much for the support. It means the world to me. If you find this bottle for $70, try it out. It's a good bottle. 135, 140-ish. I would not buy it at secondary prices. All right, guys, until the next episode, cheers.